Hi, I am here with Scott Renfroe, president of a concrete company in Colorado. Thanks for
Good
being here,
morning.
Scott.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Sure thing. And you had just finished the Resilient Transformation Academy, and I'd love to ask you,
Yeah.
what challenges were you experiencing before you began the program?
Um, well, like you said, I'm president of a concrete company. A lot of moving parts, a lot of people, a lot of stress, a lot of projects, a lot of um, slow moving parts with that. And so I would say I was feeling a lot of anger at times with not seeing results on different things. Um, Pretty short temper, which isn't like me normally. And this is probably in the last 2 years that this has kind of changed. I don't know um, if just the work environment has done that, but just a lot of anger, a lot of um, shortness. And, I just decided I didn't want to be a grumpy old man and in my life as just an angry person. And so saw you at a Vistage um, session that with the group I'm involved in, met you there as with your presentation and was just um, curious to learn more.
Is there anything that you tried to do in the past to overcome that anger?
Um, well, I guess when in my youth, if I had to go back, I'd say sports was my physical outlet to kind of take care of that. I played a lot of basketball, um, after college and different things, and so you could get pretty physical playing that. And once the knees go, you didn't have that outlet the same way, and so I don't know if I really um, had a what I felt was a positive outcome or outlet for it. Through the Vistage, had some different speakers come in, the PQ, different things like that. And I like those. I think they help and they are good. But what I like more about your program is the actual computer feedback that you get, in real time, with that. For me, that portion really, um, even though I know I feel better mentally, it helped me a lot more than just the physical side of um, doing something and going down the road. And I like that aspect of what the coherence program is and the core performance.
So you got to see the data. Like when you felt
Yes.
angry, you got to see what was actually happening inside your physiology.
Yeah.
And then were you able to shift over into happiness or calm or peace at will without doing anything externally?
I would say through the thoughts, yes, just breathing and thoughts. And so with that to be able to help and your mind and your heart and just your body in a more positive way. I could really, I like that seeing that result on there and so even playing with it to think negative things and to go down a rabbit hole of a frustration of a moment at work and you could just see that thing just tanking and it's like holy cow, I am really you know damaging myself and or not helping myself in a healthy way, I should say, is probably a better way to say it.
Yeah, it's like when you see the physiology piece of it, of how your thoughts and your emotions start to affect your physiology, you get that data right there. How quickly were you able to catch yourself in those angry moments or catch yourself like always looking for what's wrong and be able to shift it and bring the brain and body back into that
Yeah.
homeostasis and balance?
uh, I think it takes practice, and so it wasn't overnight that, oh, I'm figured it out and I'm there. You got to work at it, and so over time, I think I've seen better results. It's not something that I'm done. It's not like I've graduated now I can move on to the next thing. I think it's something I want to continue to really try to. be observant of that and how you react to different situations and calm yourself and reset yourself so that you're in a um, better place to to lead others, because as the president, you have a lot, you're dealing with issues a lot of the day as opposed to you do a lot of looking forward, but you also got to do a lot of triage at different times. And so, that's the nature of it and just how you handle that. I think I'm doing a better job um, at getting through those. And, I had a supervisor a while back, have a pretty big problem that we had. And he was like, "You should be yelling at me." And I'm not a yeller, but he was so upset with what had happened in the error that we'd made that he's like he wanted to be yelled at to feel better. And it's like, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna yell at you. We just got to get through it and fix it and learn from it and move forward. And so it was kind of a probably a little bit of a pivot from where I've been in the last 2 years. So it's been good.
So it sounds like it really shifted your leadership style.
I would say yes, and that's one of the goals I had going in is I would say when in doing an assessment or analysis of myself, I haven't been observant of others around me the way I should. And so that's been another key thing I've tried to really make an effort to be better at um and where they're at and where how they're coming into different things and it's made me, I'd say, a much happier person at work. And I love my work. I love what I do. I love building things and seeing things built. And um, there was a time that it was just grumpy guy coming to work every day for the last year, I would say. And I'm sure I'll still have grumpy days, but it's now I can at least I at least stop a little more and recognize and I'm aware of that to help me get through it in a better way.
Would you say that you're enjoying your day more than you were before you learned these tools?
Um, yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think it is fair. Um, I've had a pretty blessed life, and I would say I overstate some of my highs and lows, probably just like a lot of people do. But um, when I get set back and look at it, I would say definitely the techniques and um, the little notes that I have around my desk. You pick them up from all sorts of different things that you see and read and do, and this will definitely be things that I continue.
Beautiful. You talked about how you had the data real time. It didn't happen overnight, but it happens with practice.
Hmm.
And so, how are you going to use this moving forward?
Um, I definitely want to continue. I'm a guy I like to if I'm not off real early to an early meeting, I like to get up and start my day, with some devotional and then with some breathing and some time. And so it's made me um, slow down my day. At least it feels like my day is slowed down, even though I know I'm doing the same amount of work and doing the same things. Before I felt rushed and always just jumping to the next thing, whacking the next mole and jumping through things. And I know I'm probably still doing that, but it doesn't feel at the end of the day like that's what my day was like. So going forward, I do want to continue, using the inner balance, device and making sure that um, because I think what I like about it is it does make me stop and focus and spend the time and that's you need to do that for yourself and it helps people around you too when when you don't come in grumpy, that everybody else around you has a pickup with it too.
Definitely. And so you've shared some of how it's changed your leadership style. What about your family home? Like have you in your personal life, have people noticed that you're a little bit happier and less grumpy?
We've had some changes at home in that for the first time in 30 plus years, we're empty nesters, my wife and I. And so um, that's quite a dynamic change on its own to see. But I would say that overall, no one's really come out and said that I seem different, but I would assume I am just because um, there are a lot of days I would take the grumpiness home, and that's not something I've ever wanted to do, and so that one I guess I haven't heard a comment from people. I haven't asked them at home with that. So
I encourage you to ask them
yeah.
because these changes can be so subtle and we notice it and we can self-regulate on our drive home and shift from grumpy to happy. And when you ask other people, sometimes they'll reflect back things that they're, oh yeah, as a matter of fact, you haven't been coming home very grumpy lately. So I
Mhm.
encourage you to ask them about that. And if you were going to describe this to a friend, how would you describe it to a friend?
I would say it's more than a program or I would even say more than I wouldn't even call it a self-help mechanism, even though it truly, I would say, is a program that can help you um, become a happier person and a stronger person in what you set out to accomplish, and um, you can pick people up around you better too, and create a better environment for those around you um, to enjoy their day. Because if I'm not coming in quiet and grumpy with a scowl on my face, then um, they're not gonna be on tiptoes and needles, pins and needles either. And so I think that it's a to me it's a very um, different program than anything I've ever read on um, with the feedback side of it. That's what I go back to. I'm a guy that loves numbers, and I'm not an accountant at all, but I love you know numbers in financials and in estimating, and I like the feedback data side of the physical side of it, um, that you get out of the program. Um, and I think that reinforces or confirms, I would say, the results that you can have of improving your happiness or your um for me, I'm always a good sleeper. You put me on a pillow, I'll fall asleep. I might get up early in the morning, but you know, I know that there are people that really have had a good or a better sleep outcome with going through the program too. And but for me, it's been more uh, probably the feeling of under control through my day instead of just rushing through the day. Um, it goes back to feeling like sports when everything's like in slow motion because you just already know where you're going to be and how it's going to go. And through that type of scenario, and and this seems to do that for me at work a little bit to slow that down to instead of just everything going a million miles an hour.
Would you equate that to the flow state, like having the formula to slow things down, get focused and centered?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're the. I'm sorry, I don't know the technical jargon of it that well. I should probably know it better, but yeah, that's probably exactly the what I'm trying to describe there within that.
Yeah. Yeah, flow at work, happier
Yeah.
and leading a little bit different, having more clarity in your leadership. And you're the president of the company. And as executives, we set the tone for the culture. And I love what you said. I'm not coming in grumpy and angry. You're coming in happy and you're intentional about coming in happy. And that sets the tone and the energy for the entire culture in the office. So really,
And I
really
would say I'm a person that as a an athlete, I always love to look at things. My whole life I've loved to look at you know replays or anything for what's wrong to get better. But that's hard for a lot of people because if you're always looking at what's wrong, you can really damage people or processes because they don't hear any compliments out of it, even though this has helped me see and become a better leader at how I approach how I find something that's wrong in trying to help us come to the solution instead of just highlighting that within a situation. And that was one of my goals coming in is I could recognize that that's all I seemed to be was a Debbie Downer or a highlight the negative to everybody, even though that's where you improve and get better at exponential rates. But there's a cost to that too if you don't slow down and get to that in a better way. And I think by being calmer and more observant, it's and aware, this program has really helped me through that.
What a gift to your employees.
I
I
hope
can
so. Yeah.
imagine. Yeah. Well, you should ask them too if they've
Yeah.
noticed a shift because it's that feedback loop. We sense the change inside, but what really solidifies that is how are other people responding to us? And it sounds like you have made a lot of energetic internal shifts using data to give you the whereabouts of where you are in the program and be able to go higher and higher and higher in the sense of energy and what we call coherence, otherwise known as flow. So it's been
Yeah.
a pleasure to work with you. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. You've done an
Thank you.
amazing
I've
job.
enjoyed it.
Keep going.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, Scott.
Yep. Have a great day.
You too.